The ransom has been paid. We got to pay our tariff bill yesterday. $35,000 down the drain. In summary, I have paid my tariffs. My products will get through customs next week. It will take probably another 2 weeks to get to my warehouse here in Minnesota. Because we could not ship our products for almost 8 weeks due to the 145% tariffs, which would have cost me well over $200,000 that I don't have, we are now out of stock of almost all of our main products, which means our revenue in the last 30 days is down 70% from normal. My operating expenses are the same. So right now, operating expenses are way more than the money we're actually bringing in. So it's a very tight situation. Fortunately, we had hundreds of generous, thoughtful, caring other Americans donate to our GoFundMe, which did cover the cost of the tariffs. So we are not raising our prices. But in the future, this is not sustainable. These tariffs are not sustainable. We still need to make it through the next few weeks before our products get here, and then hope that people will start buying it again, and we can survive a few more months to figure out what to do next. And talk about this tariff I got. I will try to put it on the screen here so that you can see what the bill actually looks like. And you'll see on the bill, there is one line, the bottom line, $0, and it says free. That is my normal tariff. So the additional 30% that I'm paying right now, and that everybody importing paying right now, is on top of what your normal tariff was. For those who don't understand how tariffs work exactly, the importer of record, whoever's buying the products that are coming into our country, is the person or company responsible for paying the import tax, also known as tariffs. I need a little help here understanding my tariff bill from people who agree with what is happening right now with the tariffs. So my first question, for those of you who think these tariffs are a great thing, is please explain to me the 20% fentanyl tariffs. So for me, that 20% fentanyl bill cost me $23,263. And from the research I've done on the internet, this is an essential national security tool, this fentanyl tariff, and it's not traditional trade policy. And the point is to stop the import of fentanyl. I don't understand how my $23,000 is having any impact on the import of fentanyl. I am manufacturing my own inventions, my own products, and shipping them to my warehouse in Minnesota, where we conduct all of our business with American companies and sell to American consumers. There's nothing that has anything to do with my business that involves any kind of pharmaceutical, any kind of fentanyl. And I don't know how me, the American business owner, paying $23,000 to our government is having any impact on the import of fentanyl. I agree, it's a massive problem. Even just in my local town, we've had more than, I think, 15 deaths in the last 2 weeks from fentanyl overdoses, drugs laced with fentanyl. It's a massive problem. I agree it needs to be addressed. I just don't understand how me paying $23,000 is helping that cause. So please comment for those of you on the side of the government that think this is effective. For the rest of you, you're preaching to the choir. I don't get it either, and we don't need to bash the administration. I really want to understand how this is helping. The other 10%, which is $11,631, is the 10% reciprocal tariff. Now, the reciprocal tariffs are supposed to collect money from foreigners who have taken from us using unfair trade practices. I am not a foreigner. I am an American. I'm a veteran. So this additional almost $12,000 that I had to pay yesterday is supposed to collect money from foreigners who have taken from us using unfair trade practices. Somebody please explain that to me as well. Now, since this whole thing has happened with the tariffs, I have revisited finding a way to manufacture in the US. That's part of the goal, right? And I have talked to more than a dozen factories, and something people don't know or realize is that these tariffs are negatively impacting US factories as well. The raw material for many things that we use in our life is not available in the US. So my products are made of food grade silicone. It is not something we have available in the US. There are places that sell food grade silicone in the US because they've already imported it. So the cost of the material in the US is very high, and importing the raw material is expensive. And now there's tariffs on that. So other manufacturers that make things out of resins and other materials, silk, they are being impacted. Even though they manufacture in the US, the raw materials are being tariffed, increasing their costs, which they then have to pass on to their customers who already have razor thin margins because they chose to manufacture in the US, which is a very admirable thing. I'm not against manufacturing in the US in any way, but these tariffs are not helping American manufacturers. Manufacturing is just more expensive in the US. Any manufacturer in the US will tell you they have very high regulation costs, they have high labor costs, they have high property insurance, property tax, business insurance. There's so many insurances you have to buy as a business owner. So just producing anything in the US or operating any business in the US is much more expensive than in other countries. So one thing about tariffs, up until this administration, is that they were very strategically used in a way that tariffs products that are imported that we could be making here. And the point is to discourage the production in other countries, because if we can make it here, we should make it here. And so even though they can do it cheaper, by adding the tariff, it evens out the playing ground for the American manufacturers who are making things here now. Currently, there are over 500,000 positions open at factories in the US. We do not have the workforce to fill the factories that are already in existence here. And to create more factories, to expand manufacturing in the US, takes time and it takes money. I have 5 inventions, all baby products designed to keep things off the ground. Great baby products. We've been selling them in the US for 6 years now, and people love them, and our business was growing. We got into Target, we got into Walmart, and things were looking great and up for us. We were growing. I am a US Army veteran, so when I invented my products and started manufacturing them, I wanted to do it here in the US, of course. But it's a new product. No one's ever heard of it. I didn't know if anyone was gonna buy it. And US factories require much higher production runs than overseas factories. These manufacturers in the US are wonderful, but to make their business make sense and for their business to be profitable, they do require higher production runs. And as a very small new company, I don't make enough product for it to be worth it for them to work with me. So I manufacture in China. There is a difference between the junk we get from China via Shein, Temu, Amazon, and then people like me who produce in China. My factories are wonderful. They do not use child labor. They uphold my very, very high quality control standards. These are products that are going in babies' mouths, so it's important that the material is safe, that the production is done correctly so that the products are not faulty. Anyway, I continue to do my due diligence. I continue to reach out to factories and have these conversations, but ultimately we are still too small. We don't make enough product to make it worth it here in the US. I will continue to look for manufacturing in the US. I think it's a great goal. I would love to be able to do that someday. But right now, I'm telling you, it is not possible for us unless we triple the cost of our products, and consumers aren't gonna pay that. So that is your update for this week.